The Dying Swan that you saw performed today was performed in Holland for the Queen of Holland, now the retired or abdicated Queen, and for Mr. Nelson Mandela. And that is one of Kitty's true highlights. Kitty was also recently made one of the 21 icons, and they had done a whole thing around her, because she is a real and true role model. She inspires young South Africans to want to be better at what they do. And that's, again, what we stand for. This is the, Nick spoke just now of some of the concepts that ballet stands for, that you employ in business. And that's what we have to do. We have to make our kids and our people in South Africa more committed, more passionate, more disciplined. They have to prepare. So if you think of a business meeting, you don't just walk into the business meeting, and you don't just start talking in your business meeting. In ballet, to have been able to have done the pas de deux that you saw, which is the Spring Waters pas de deux, danced by Bernice Silvius, our prima ballerina, and Jonathan Rodriguez, the amount of trust that it takes to be able to be thrown, caught, spun around in one hand is incredible. But it takes hours and hours of repetition, of getting the lifts, making sure you understand where the weight of the lady is, where is she going to be at that moment, for her to know, can I trust that man to be there when I jump? Again, so important in business. The need in the end for grooming when you go into a meeting, it's important. You spoke earlier tonight of the fact that a study was done with students, and they would evaluate their lecturers, and if it's a 12-week course, they evaluated them at the end, and then they said, well, let's see what happens at 6 weeks, and then they said the first day, and then the first hour. And that first impression is so incredibly important. And that's why when they get on stage and they stand, they have to grab you immediately. And everything has to be perfect. Because if there's a hair out of place or a piece of cotton hanging out, it detracts from the performance. It detracts from the experience. And that's why hours is spent, it sounds ridiculous, on making sure the costumes are right, the shoes, the preparation for the ladies with their shoes. Imagine what it must be like to dance on your toes. But in the same way, it takes years at university to prepare, to get your degree, to then go in business, and then start working your way up to becoming the dean of the faculty, or the dean of an amazing place like this. And that is what ballet is about. It really is about taking normal people and making them extraordinary people, to be able to take people like you on a journey that you will never forget. I can assure you that for the next 5 years, you will talk about at least coming to the ballet at GIBS. So it's great marketing for you. It really is. And that's really what it's about. The company decided that we were going to perform in Pretoria at the end of last year. My apologies. And we said, e-tolls have just started happening. How do we get our supporters to the theater in Pretoria? So we had a meeting with the CEO of the Gautrain, and we did a whole day on the Gautrain. Ballerinas with tutus, the gentlemen suddenly showing the people how they do sit-ups to get the wonderful 6 or 8 packs that they have. And I was like a plainclothes policeman walking with the dancers. And I was waiting for, because it's jam-packed, 7 o'clock, 7:30 in the morning. Imagine the Gautrain, really full. And then a girl and two go, excuse me, and just go, and then suddenly go into a position, leg up in the air. And I was waiting for one of the passengers to say, bloody hell, what is this about? I just want to get to work. And not a single person complained, not a single one. People were touching the tutus, people were asking questions. A lot of people said, thank you very much for reminding us that there is still ballet in South Africa and that your performances will be happening. It's a wonderful way. At the end of that year, for the New Year's party with the mayor of Johannesburg, the very first thing that he said to me is, "Wow, I loved you guys on the How train." And that is, again, the value of the concept of ballet, because it sticks. That's why you will see so many advertisements on television where they use little ballerinas, full-grown ballerinas, tutus, because there is something about it that is magical. And every little girl, for some reason, how many of you in here have done ballet at some stage of your lives? This is what I cannot understand. Many of the ladies have now become CEOs of companies, or senior managers, or senior partners. And they're still supporting the rugby and the cricket and the soccer. And then they complain that we live in a sexist society. But they are not themselves transforming the society. They are still keeping it a hard-nosed business society that does not encourage artistic expression and the development of other skills that are as important in being successful in business. So to the ladies in here that are decision makers, remember what I've said.